Hey, and welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be doing a review and install of the new front bumper for the Cybertruck from Tlyard. So I'll go ahead and get it open, show you what we got in the box here. This install is going to be a little bit more on the technical side. Looks like there's a little bit to do. I'll show you what's in the package. Comes with the directions, obviously, and a list of parts. I've already watched a few videos to see how it goes on. It goes on fairly simple, but there is a lot to do. This is going to be the box of all the screws, nuts, bolts, everything that you're going to need there. I'm sure it comes with its own tools that you may need. Again, I'm going to use my own personal tools more than likely, but I'll show you that in the video. It's going to have a ton of different brackets. As you can see, here's a front license plate bracket that they are going to use. It comes really nicely coated, and it's a really solid metal. The front bumper, because I'm in North Carolina and it's not required, I'm not going to put this on, but I'll show it sitting in there so you get the gist of what it's going to look like when it's on there. But again, you can tell, I mean, I can tell by the weight of these pieces, this thing is super, super solid. You can see it's marked right. Again, I'll go through the installation video. It has this nice powder coat that's really, really nice. It's on it. Looks really, really cool. I can't wait to get this thing on. I think what I'm going to do at first to start is probably do a lot of the installation actually in here in the house. It's a little bit cold here in North Carolina right now, and instead of being in the garage, there are a lot of pieces that you got to kind of pre-assemble before it goes on. So when we come back, I'll probably be right back here in the kitchen area, just doing a little bit of the install before we get out to the truck. So I'll see you in 1 minute. All right, we're back and everything's out of the box. I've laid out everything so you can go through and see exactly what's in the box. Again, it comes with the directions that you may need. Hopefully this video will kind of guide you through. It comes with all the tools that you would need to do the install. Again, I like to use a lot of my own tools, but it does include everything that you're going to need to do the whole install. Here's all the nuts, bolts, washers, everything that you're going to need there, along with an Allen wrench to do it. It has all the bumper pieces here. I've laid them out. What I notice is a lot of these things are all marked L and R for left and right. Pretty much every piece is marked with an L and R, which is really, really cool. It makes it super simple. Again, same thing up here. There's an L and an R. I'll weigh this thing at the end because I am curious how much this bumper weighs, but it is solid. If you're looking for a piece that's really going to protect the front of your vehicle, this is going to be it. I mean, this thing is super, super solid. So without further ado, I will get set up here and show you the quick install. Again, I'm going to put everything together inside where it's nice and warm. All right, we're going to go ahead and start putting the first pieces together. It's pretty self-explanatory how these go up because everything kind of lines up. But again, this is the right side here. And what I'm going to do is I like to set all the pieces out that I know that I'm going to need, just so that I know that when I'm done, there's no extra pieces and I've used everything. So you're going to take your bolt, put this one through, use your washer and your nut. Oops, I'm sorry, and your lock washer and your nut. Oopsie. Go ahead. Oh, wait. There we go. And I'm going to go ahead and just hand tight these. So I'll be doing the same thing 4 times in a row. Same thing here. Remember, big washer, lock washer, and then nut. And one more, and I'll be done with this side. All right. And then what again, I'm going to use my own tools. I have a 13 millimeter, which I believe is the size here. And I'm going to use my drill with the Allen bit there. And that's it. That's all we got to do. And one more and we'll be all done. All right, and that's it on that side. We're going to do the same exact thing over here real quick. All righty, again, we're going to do the same thing over here. Once we get these hands started, and make sure everything's lined up, then we'll just finally tighten them at the end. Everything so far has gone together really smoothly. You can tell they used very high quality parts. Oops, I forgot to put the lock washer on there. All right. There's that. And this is so much easier in here on the counter doing this. I used a little piece of foam that came with the wrapping to set everything on so we wouldn't damage the counter, and then also a moving blanket under that just so that it didn't damage the counter. But man, it sure is nice working in here where it's nice and warm. Again, this stuff is a lot of the install is just kind of putting this stuff together, and it's nice to be able to just do it all inside. The final one, the final piece will be out at the truck, but let's go ahead and tighten these up. One more and we'll be all done with this side. And that's it. That's all installed. Next pieces we're going to put on is this, and I'll be back in 1 second to show you that. All right, we're going to be putting this piece on here. I just scooted this back just a little tiny bit so that we had enough room to put this in front. Again, I've always set out my screws. You can see what I'm going to need, all my screws, nuts, and washers, so that, again, at the end, I know that I've used all the parts that I need to. And it's going to go on the same way, super easy. We're going to go put that one in, the big washer, the lock washer, and the nut. And we're just going to repeat that 8 times in a row, 4 on each side. Again, we're going to want to make sure that we get all of these on before we tighten any of them. So make sure you just put these on hand tight. That way you can slightly move it around if you need to while it's loose, if you need to align a hole a little bit better. So far everything's going in really really as planned, so that's working out very nicely. All right, one more on this side and we'll be all done. So you can tell on this one I need to kind of wiggle it a little bit to get that last one in. That's why it's important to not tighten it in all the way. If I would have tightened up all those other screws, there's no way I would have been able to shake that a little bit to get that to push through. So okay, we're going to skip over the other side here. Again, put same thing, have all my screws, nuts, washers all laid out. And we're going to do the same thing here. All right, there's 2 of them, 2 more to go. And the last one. Okay, so you can see that's all on there nice and secure. I'm going to go ahead and finish tightening them all down and we'll be all done with putting this piece on. All right, get this side and we'll move on to the next piece. Again, so far this installation has been super simple. Nothing difficult yet. From what I've seen so far, the hardest part is kind of moving that camera, adding that bracket and moving that camera. Other than that, it's pretty straightforward. I'll give you a time of completion at the end as well, so that you have an idea how long it's going to take you. All right, so the next thing we're going to do is we're going to be adding these 2 side pieces. So I'll be back in 1 second when I get that set up. All right, so again, we're going to be putting these on. Again, there's only really one way that they can kind of go on. You're going to see it fits perfectly aligned there. So I'm going to do the same thing here. I'm going to take that bolt. All right, there's the first one. Actually, we'll go up here. Make it a little bit easier. Again, all the same steps. You've got your bolt, then you've got your washer, then you've got your lock washer, then you've got your nut. All the same as before. You want to make sure that you're using the head of the bolt on the outside. This is going to be where you can see, so you want it to be as clean, right? These you're not going to see once this thing's installed. So you want to have kind of your dirty side on this side. So make sure that the heads of your bolts are on the outside here. There's only these two that you can see from out here. But again, you want to make sure that those are on the outside. It's probably a little bit easier to install it the other way. It just won't look as good. You'll see what I mean here in a second. I think we're going to have to use an Allen wrench on the two inside of this. And I guess technically on these inside ones, you could flip these around if you wanted to, because they are not going to be seen. But I like to just keep them all the same direction. And we're going to have to use an Allen wrench there. But you'll see I'm going to use my ratchet wrench, and it will go on really quick. Okay, those are all hand tight. Looks good. I'm going to go ahead and grab the Allen wrench that they provided. And again, just using my 13 millimeter here. What I'm going to do, I'm going to start on the inside here. And these are the ones that, you know, again, now my drill can't get in there. So I'm just going to use this. The other thing too is you're going to want to make sure that these are nice and aligned here, this line here, because there is a little bit of play in there. So you're going to want to make sure that those are lined up exactly how you want them. Which once I had a little tension on there. So you're going to want it to at least tighten one a little bit so you get tension. And then now I can just feel that's perfectly flat on there. And I know that that's where I want to be. Again, the same thing. I want to tilt this. I want to make sure that's nice and lined up. And this is nice and lined up. And it should give you a nice flat edge there as well. All right, that's all perfectly lined up. So I'm going to go ahead and get these tightened. So that they won't move. All right, give this one a final. Okay, just give it a check again. Everything's perfectly lined up. And I'll finish the two here. Okay, and one more to go, and we are all done. It's a little dark in there to see. I should grab a little light probably to see down in there so I can line it up. But I'm just trying real quick without one. All right, looks like I got it lined up. And this will be it. All right, so the next piece that we're going to be installing is the other side. And again, we're going to do the same exact thing as this side. I'll show you again real quick on the other side how it goes. It'll be exactly the same, but I'll show you that other side as well. All right, that's it. That's all done there. Again, we're going to put the other side on. I'll be back in 1 second after that side's set up. All right, here we are. We're going to put on this other side. Again, it's going to be all exactly like the other one. I'll just let this thing sit down for a second while I put the washers on. All right, there's the first one. Here is the second. Third one. And the last one here. All right. So again, we're going to do the same thing as we did before. We want there to be a little bit of tension on it. So we're just going to take this one and we're going to just tighten it up just to get a little bit snug so that we can kind of get this where we want it. And really, I'm just looking at this outside line to make sure that it's all straight, which it looks straight to me there. Just want to make sure it's as flat as I can up top here. And that's perfect. Again, take your time in this area to make sure that you got everything perfectly aligned. So we're going to tighten the second screw here. Or second bolt, I should say. Okay. Same thing here. So after I get these four locked into place here, that's going to be it for the bumper. If you are in a state or you decide that you want to put on your front license plate, because again, you can do custom plates. You may have a radar jammer that you want to put on there. For whatever reason you want to put that on, I'll show you how that works as soon as I'm done with this. Okay. And one more and we're all done. Okay, there's that. And this is going to be done and all right, and that is it there. Get this out. All right, we're all done. I'll show you how that looks. If you want to come around the front here. So there's the bumper. Looks super nice. So if you were going to do the license plate holder, again, you would just do the same thing we've been doing the whole time. You would just put the two bolts in there. So you'd put them in again through the top, just like over here. You got those two bolts there, and you'd put those in and tighten it up. If you decide you want to do a front, I'm electing not to, so I'm going to keep it off right now. Again, I'll put it on there and throw some bolts on just sitting there so you can see it when it's on the vehicle, so you can see how it looks. But again, I'm elected not to use it. So at this point, I'll meet you out in the car. We got to install a few other brackets on the vehicle. All right, we're out at the vehicle, and I'll show you the first thing we're going to do is take off these little plastic covers. Super, super easy. Again, they give you the little pry tool that you're going to need. All you're really going to need to do is get kind of back in here, and you're just going to just pry it off. I'm sure there's a bunch of different ways that you can manipulate tools back there to get it, but just this little plastic piece is going to come off. They actually make these little notches that you can just kind of get back behind as well to undo that. But yeah, it comes off fairly easy. Again, I'm just working my way around nice and easy. That's it. That's going to come off just like that. It's going to expose what we need to get to back here. Next thing we're going to do is be taking this bolt off. I'll show you that in just 1 minute. All right, I have a 10 millimeter just nut driver, and we're going to take this nut off here. Super easy. Guess I must have set off my front sensor there. But we're going to take that off. We're going to keep that. I believe you need it to put it back on. So go ahead and just keep that one. Again, we're going to do the same thing over here. We'll do that real quick. Same thing. We're going to just pry this one off. This is actually easy to take off. It's just hard to get your fingers kind of back there. Nice and easy. And again, we're going to take this piece off. And that is it. I'll be back for the next part. I want to show you a trick here. They actually tell you to break off a couple of these pieces, these little plastic pieces, to do the install, but you don't need to. I'm going to show you a little trick. What we're going to ultimately end up doing is these little pieces of plastic, we're going to take a pry tool and we're going to get it behind here, and we're going to be pulling it back like this. And it's because this piece here, this lip needs to get back behind that plastic. So instead of breaking them off, we're just going to pull that plastic out of the way with the pry bar and then tuck this piece, this lip behind it. Again, we're using an R, which is the right-hand side, which is actually the passenger side of the vehicle. So we're going to use R. Same thing, we're going to use the R here. So let me show you how this works. Again, pry tool. Trying to stay out of the light here. I'm going to use this to pull this out of the way, but I'm going to take this. Maybe you can look underneath here and see. Let me get some light on there. I'm going to pull this out, and I'm just going to tuck this bracket back behind there. You'll see here in a second. See, it just slid right down in there. So now I'm going to kind of wiggle it into place, and you can see now. Just got to move it a little bit to the left. It's all loose in there, but you can see now the screw hole right here. We're going to just take the same screw that we removed, and we're going to put that back into place. So let me grab my tool. Excuse me. All right. And we're going to put this right back in. Looks like this bracket needs to slide a little bit to the right. And a little bit further down. There we go. Yeah. I keep moving it left and right, but it will line up. A little bit more. We'll see if we can get that screw through there now. And there it goes. And that's it. Now what you're going to do is we're going to install this. I'll show you the bolt that we're going to use to put that through there. I'm going to grab that. I'll be right back. All right, so the package comes with 2 of these. There's one for each side. We're just going to use one. And again, we're going to use all the same stuff we did before to secure it on there. This is going to go to the other side. I did back out this screw just a little bit because I wanted a little bit of play in here. I'll show you why. This bolt is real snug, but if I got a little bit of play in there, I can push it easily through the top. So the other thing too is I want to be able to snug this down super tight before I completely bolt it in there. And so again, I can tell it's laying flat on there, so I'm going to go ahead and just tighten that up now. Again, the first time when I had it completely tight, I couldn't really get that bolt in there because it kind of lifts it up to where it's real snug, but it goes in there real easy if you do it that way. And then this is just going to go right in here. You want this curved piece. This is actually curved under here, this tow hitch or this tow hook. So you want this curved piece not to be back. You want it to be forward, and you want it to be up like this too. So we're going to take this. It's going to tuck right in there. And then we're going to just do the same thing as all the other bolts. We're going to go washer, lock washer, and then the nut. And again, until I get everything done, I'm just going to leave everything hand tight. I should have left that one hand tight from the beginning until I got this other bracket on there, but no big deal. It just came undone. So, all right. So we're loose there. I'm going to go ahead and actually tighten it. Doesn't look like we need to add anything to this. We should be able to just tighten that right up. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. And I'm going to do that with two 13 millimeter wrenches. One's going to be my ratchet for the top. Make it nice and easy. All right. And we're done there. All right. All right, we're on the left side, which is the driver's side of the vehicle. And we're going to do the same thing as we just did. Again, there's these 3 pieces here. If you want to look through the top here, there's these 3 pieces that you can pull forward. And again, I'm just trying to loosen it up a little bit because ultimately what I'm going to do is pull this thing forward and then put this bracket behind it. So again, now you can try to look from underneath as I'm pulling this thing forward. That's it, just tucking it back behind there. And then it's going to be the same thing. We're going to look to make sure that that's lined up, which it seems to be off just a little bit, and that's it. And then again, we're going to put the screw back in, this bolt back in. It's that easy. Again, we're not going to go 100%. We're just going to leave it loose like that so we can put this bolt in. This bolt's going to slide in through the top, just like that. We can finish, once we get that bolt in, we can finish tightening it. Just like that. And we're going to take this, again, marked with the L for the left. We want this forward. Again, it's supposed to match the direction of the tow hook there. Slide that under there. And really this is just kind of just the bottom clamp to hold this thing super secure on the tow hitch. And then we have our big washer, our lock washer, and our nut. All right, and we'll finish securing this. Then the only thing left that we're going to need to do is going to be on the bumper before we install the actual bumper piece, is we're going to move that camera, and I'll show you how to do that next as soon as I get this thing tightened on here. What I'm doing is I'm pulling it all the way forward towards me so that it locks kind of in that little groove and tightening it up. It's just a clamp that ultimately is the bottom part of this tow hitch, so it doesn't have to be perfect, but and there we go. That's it. So now that we're done there, when I come back, we'll go ahead and move the camera. So I'll see you in just 1 second. Right, so we're going to be removing the camera. Again, the camera is going to be moving forward and going onto an additional bracket that they provide. So what I have here is a T15 star or torque bit here, driver, and I'm just going to undo these 2 screws. There's one. There's 2. And it should just pop down. That piece comes off there. All right, so I elected to just leave the camera where it is right now. I feel like if I take it off, I've got to slide this bumper on. I don't want to hit it or damage it, so I can easily access it once the bumper's on. So I'm going to go ahead and show you the bumper going on. I will say I've already weighed this thing, so put together as it is right here, including brackets and everything. I put the brackets in my pocket while I measured it, standing on the scale, and it weighed 48 pounds. So 48 pounds total is what the weight of this is, if you're curious. And what we're going to do now is we're just going to slide it. If you want to look from the top here, you're just going to put that bracket on top, and it literally just slides in just like that. And it'll stay there until we do the bolt on the bottom. But you can see it perfectly aligns with the bumper. Super, super cool. What we're going to do at this point is we've got these 2 bolts that they give you. They're huge bolts, no washers. I'm going to show you underneath here how we're going to put those in. There's just 1 on each side. I'm using my drill. They do come with what you're going to need, but I grabbed a 15 millimeter socket, and I'll show you underneath here what this looks like. If you want to get all the way up under here, let me get a light under here. if you want to look all the way under here, you can see, if I can position that right, there you go. You can see if I move this bumper around, that's where my bolt's going to go. So I'm going to just start it in there real quick. I'm just going to hand start it. Same thing, you're not going to be able to see under here because I don't have a light, but I'm just going to do the same thing. It's a little difficult left-handed, not as coordinated. I might need to get the extension to put this one in. We'll see here. Yeah, let me grab my extension. Nice and easy once you get the extension on there. Okay, so they're hand tight. Again, I'm gonna go up top and align the bumper where I want it. Push it back as far as I can. And that is it. It looks like it's all aligned, just making sure everything's equal. And I will go ahead and tighten this up. That didn't feel right. I'll take this one back out. May not have started that one off right. All right, so I figured out on my drill, I just had it on too low of a setting, so it just didn't have enough torque to do it. But really, to get these in here completely, I'm gonna recommend just using a big ratchet, because these things wanna get real snug. Obviously, they don't wanna come out. So that's what you're gonna wanna do. Make sure the bumper's all the way in as far as it'll go. And then you're just gonna snug it in all the way. Okay, make sure that's all the way. And that's it. Go to the other side, we'll snug that side up, and we'll be done. The only thing left to do is move the camera, and we're all done. So again, same thing here. I tried using my drill, but it really wants to have some torque on there, so use a ratchet here. And that's it. That thing's solid, it's done. All right. Some people are curious to see if the trunk or the front mat is going to go down and clear it. Here's what it looks like. Clears it no problem, misses it by a couple inches. So we'll go ahead and get that back up, and we will do the camera. I'll show you the camera under here. Actually, I'll be back in 1 second. I'm just going to grab a light. All right. Again, I've removed the 2 screws from the bottom. The little plastic piece I've taken off. And now I'm going to use a T8. So this is a T8 head. Again, they provide the tools that you're going to need, but there's going to be 2 screws here that you're going to take off. They are tiny. I don't believe that you reuse them. I'll let you know here in a second once we move this out. But they provide 2 new screws that come in a bag here that are a little bit longer. So I'm assuming that's what those are for. So we'll see here in just a second. So the camera's going to come out just like this. You're going to leave it all together because, again, we're just moving it out here to the bumper. So it has enough slack that we're gonna put it there. Right. So we're gonna use these 2 screws here that are provided in the little bag. They're Phillips. I'm gonna use my own Phillips screwdriver. Again, they provide one. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna actually put these screws in from behind. I'm almost thinking about undoing that, but I'm gonna see if I can do it this way. Put that screw in there. This bracket is gonna come up under here ultimately and bolt like this. So I need to make sure that I just line the camera up like this and screw those in. So I'm gonna see if there's enough room in here to do it this way. If not, I may take the camera off there. We're gonna see. Looks like there's gonna be enough room. All right, I just wanna show you a little trick that I kind of figured out putting these together. Getting under there and trying, these are such small screws and such small little heads. I was really worried about stripping them because they were going in real difficult. So I took this off and I just tightened them, put them all the way through already to kind of make sure that there wasn't any extra debris in there and worked out any loose metal. So they should go on super nice and easy now. So hopefully that's a little trick that'll help you, because I've been sitting here struggling trying to get them to go on. But once I kind of broke through the back, it's been smooth sailing. So what I would do is drive these through first. Make sure to take your time. Don't let your screwdriver strip that head. I was getting real nervous there when I was putting them in that it was starting to strip maybe a little tiny bit, so I stopped. Again, took this off and then just drove them through first. So I anticipate that the camera will go on nice and easy now. So we got those back out. And then what we're going to do, again, is we want to make sure that we've lined that. We know that this goes this way. So we're going to put this just like that. And go ahead and start that screw in again. Line up. I kind of got off there a little bit by accident. There we go. It's a little bit tedious doing this. It's not real hard, it's just tedious. It just takes a little bit of patience, a little bit of time, and you'll get it. Like I said, it's not hard, it's just a little bit tedious lining this stuff up. Come on, line up. There we go. All right, now we're going to take the other one. Once we got that one started, again, same thing. Line it up. And put that one in. So we're going to go ahead and finish putting these all the way in. And then there's just one more bolt to put this in. And we will be all done. Again, after I'm done, I'll show you the license plate and how that's going to look as well. Yeah, this is much easier to do once I've started them first. That's all the way in. I think this one started off a little bit crooked, so I'm going to back it out. There we go. Again, not hard, just tedious. I'm going to say this install is going to take you about an hour and a half total. Maybe shorter. It took me a second just learning a couple little tricks, but watching this video hopefully will save you some time, maybe get you done in an hour or so. But it's pretty simple. All right, so the next thing we're going to do is we're going to put this installed up here. So I'll be back in 1 second when I have everything I need. All right, so all you're going to need is just a bolt. That's it. It comes with the thread already on that side. We're just going to come up here and line it up and put the bolt in. And we're going to be all done. If I can line it up. There we go. Okay. And all we're going to need to do is tighten that up. Make sure it's straight. And that's it. Oops. And that's it. So we're all done here. I'll do a recap here in a second and do a little walk around and give you the final the show with the bracket on the front license plate as well. So I'll see you back here in just a couple minutes. All right, and here we are with it all installed. So I put the front license plate on there, as you can see. And it looks super, super cool. Super happy with the way it turned out. Changes the whole look of the vehicle. I'm going to pull off the license plate as well, so you can see that. I'm going to take it off real quick. All right, and here you go without the license plate. Super cool. All right, and that is the front bumper by Tlyard. I will add their description below along with the code. I believe right now you can get up to 27% off using the code. So I hope you enjoyed this video. It was helpful, and I will see you on the next one.